Hello, and a very warm welcome back to the English in Advance. My name is Jessica, and it's wonderful to have you listening with me today. This is our shared space, a place where we go beyond the textbook to explore the real heart of the English language, the way it's actually spoken in everyday life. Today, we are starting a special kind of journey. A deep dive into the phrases and expressions that connect knowing English with truly feeling it. It's going to be a long, relaxed, and very useful session designed for you to listen, absorb, and speak along with me. So please make yourself comfortable, maybe with a cup of tea or coffee. Find a quiet spot, and let's begin our practice together. Have you ever noticed something interesting about fluent English speakers? When they don't know the answer to a question, they almost never say the simple words, "I don't know." Even when that's exactly the truth, it's not that they're trying to hide something. They are simply using a richer, more natural way to communicate. Instead, you might hear them say something softer, more thoughtful, like, that's a good question. Let me think about that for a moment. Or maybe something like, I'm not entirely sure off the top of my head. Sometimes they might even say, I'll have to check on that and get back to you. These small changes in language make a huge difference. They make the speaker sound confident, calm, and completely natural, even when they're not sure. These are the kinds of real, everyday phrases that can make someone pause and think, wow, your English sounds so incredibly real. And today, that is exactly what we are going to explore and practice together. This session is for you if your English feels okay, but maybe a little stiff. A bit like you're reading from a script. It's for you if you sometimes find yourself pausing, searching for the right words, or translating from your native language in your head. And it's definitely for you if you feel like you get caught off guard in conversations, unsure of how to respond smoothly. Over our time together today, you are going to learn and practice dozens of real English expressions that fluent speakers use all the time, without even thinking about it. These are not the formal lines you find in grammar books. These are the flexible, expressive, and living phrases that you will actually use in your daily life, from the office to the coffee shop. We will explore these phrases in different real-world situations, like how to handle moments when you're not sure, how to make polite requests that people are happy to help with, how to agree or disagree without creating problems, how to show real emotion, how to end conversations in a friendly way, and how to make and change plans with ease. For every phrase, I will guide you through clear explanations and many dialogues so you can see exactly how they work. And most importantly, you will be speaking them out loud with me using a powerful technique called shadowing. This method is one of the fastest ways to train your brain, your mouth, and your ears to work together, building the muscle memory for natural, flowing speech. By the end of our session, you will have practiced speaking through many realistic conversations. You will develop a better sense of rhythm, build your confidence, and lock these expressions into your memory, all by simply speaking out loud. So if you already have a good understanding of English, but you're ready to sound smoother, more natural, and more like yourself when you speak, you are in the perfect place. If you ever freeze up in conversation or get stuck trying to find the perfect word, this session will give you the tools to move forward. If you want to replace basic, common words with more dynamic, interesting, and real-life English, then you will find so much value here. And please don't worry. We will go step by step with very clear explanations, many real-world examples, and lots of chances for you to practice your speaking. All you need to do is follow along with me, repeat the phrases when I ask, and stay present in the process. Try to speak the phrases, feel their natural rhythm, and enjoy this journey. I promise you, it's going to be a good and rewarding experience. So, are you ready to unlock a more fluent and natural version of your English-speaking self? Let's begin with one of the most common situations we all face in conversation. What to say when you're not quite sure. Let's be honest with ourselves. It happens to everyone. We're in a conversation, someone asks a question, and our mind just goes blank. Maybe you can't remember a specific detail, or maybe you just need a moment to collect your thoughts. It's a completely normal part of human interaction. Native English speakers feel this all the time. But here's the secret. Instead of freezing or awkwardly saying, I don't know, they have a wonderful set of phrases they use to handle these moments with style. These phrases are like conversational bridges. They buy you a little time, they keep the conversation flowing smoothly, and they make you sound thoughtful and calm. Let me show you how you can do the same. Let's start with a true classic, one you will hear all the time in everyday chats. Let me think. It's so simple, so natural, and it's the perfect way to show that you've heard the question and you're actively thinking about it. Imagine a friend asks you, "Hey, what was the name of that cozy little bookstore we went to last year?" Instead of panicking if the name doesn't pop into your head, you can just smile and say, let me think. It was on a street with lots of trees, wasn't it? Was it called the Reading Nook or something like that? You see, you're not just stopping the conversation. You are actively participating while your brain works to find the answer. It's friendly and completely natural. Now, here is another very useful phrase. I'm not sure off the top of my head. This is a beautifully polite way to say that you don't have the information right now, but it doesn't shut the conversation down. It suggests that you might be able to find the answer later. For example, imagine a coworker stops by your desk and asks, "Do you happen to remember what time our team meeting is tomorrow morning?" You could reply with, "I'm not sure off the top of my head, but I can check my calendar and let you know in a minute." It sounds smooth, helpful, and totally fluent. It shows you're willing to help, even if you don't have the answer that very second. You could also add, "But I'll find out for you." This adds an extra touch of helpfulness. Let's move on to a phrase that is a real gem for connecting ideas and keeping a conversation moving. That reminds me. This expression is perfect for when something someone says makes you think of something related. It helps you change the subject or add a new piece of information without sounding random or sudden. For example, your friend might say, "I finally finished organizing all my files for the project." Super. You could respond with, "Oh, that reminds me. I still need to send that final update to Chloe." Or, in a different situation, a friend might mention they saw a great movie, and you could say, "Speaking of movies, that reminds me. Did you hear what happened with our friend David last week? It was like a scene from a comedy." This phrase is a powerful tool for creating a natural, flowing conversation. Here's another subtle but very powerful phrase that lets you share information without sounding like you are an absolute expert. As far as I know. This is perfect for times when you are pretty sure about something, but you want to show that you might not have all the facts. It adds a little humility to your statement. For example, a new roommate might ask, "Is the local library open late on weekends?" You could answer, "As far as I know, it usually closes around 6 on Saturdays, but we should probably double-check their website just to be sure." You are being helpful and giving the information you have, but you're also being honest that you're not 100% certain. And finally, let's look at a very friendly and human way to say, "I forgot," without sounding careless. "It slipped my mind." This phrase is perfect for those moments when you really meant to do something, but it slipped your mind. Imagine a friend asks you, "Hey, did you remember to bring that book you said I could borrow?" You can respond with a warm, apologetic tone. "Oh no, it completely slipped my mind. I am so sorry. I will make sure to bring it for you tomorrow, I promise." See how that sounds so much calmer and more natural than a flat, "I forgot"? It admits the mistake in a soft and relatable way. Let's try to put these into a quick mini practice. Imagine you're at a local cafe with a friend. Your friend asks, "Do you remember if Ben said he was coming to the party tonight?" You can take a sip of your coffee and say, let me think about it. I feel like he mentioned he might try to drop by later, but I'm not 100% sure. That's the magic right there. You're handling a moment of uncertainty like a native speaker, keeping the conversation relaxed and moving forward. Let's look at a few more short scenes to see these phrases in action. In the first scene, imagine two friends are talking about a mutual friend who was late. One person asks, "Was he running late again? Did he at least send you a message?" The other could reply, "You know what? I completely forgot to even check my phone. It totally slipped my mind to look for a text." In a second scene, this time at the office, a colleague asks, "Do you have any idea when this report needs to be finished?" You could answer, I don't remember the exact deadline off the top of my head, but I can definitely look into it for you." Your colleague might say, "That would be great. Just keep me in the loop." And you can reply, "Will do. I'll check on it right after I finish this email." In a third scene, imagine two friends making plans. One asks, "So are we still on for dinner at 7 o'clock this evening?" The other could reply, "As far as I'm aware, yes, that's still the plan, unless something has changed on your end." The first friend says, "Nope, all good here. I'll see you then." These are the small, everyday moments where using natural-sounding English truly makes a difference. There's nothing complicated about them. It's just relaxed, real, and good communication. Now, let's try a quick speaking exercise together. I want you to say these phrases out loud after me. Don't just whisper them. Say them with a bit of energy, as if you're really in a conversation. Are you ready? Let's go. Let me think. I'm not totally sure right now. Oh, that reminds me. As far as I know. It totally slipped my mind. Excellent. Now, let's add a bit more life to them. This time, I want you to say each one like you are really speaking to another person, not just repeating words from a recording. Remember, fluency isn't just about speaking quickly. It's about your tone, your rhythm, and the feeling behind your words. Let's practice this with a mini role play. This time, you'll be the second person. Imagine you are browsing in a bookstore. The first person, that's me, will ask you a question. Excuse me, do you know if this author has any other books available? Now it's your turn to respond using one of our phrases. You could say, give me a second. That name does sound very familiar. I might then say, I'm pretty sure she released another book about a year ago. And you could reply, as far as I know, this is her newest one, but I'd be happy to check the computer for you. That is exactly how a real, helpful dialogue sounds. It's relaxed, natural, and friendly. Before we move on to our next topic, I want you to remember something very important. It is completely okay not to have all the answers all the time. Nobody does. What truly matters is how you handle those moments of uncertainty. If you can stay calm, be polite, and use these natural phrases, people will notice and respect you for it. So please, try these expressions out, speak them aloud, practice them, and the next time you're feeling unsure or just need a moment to think, you'll have a great phrase ready to use. Now that we feel more comfortable with uncertainty, let's talk about something that connects us all. Asking for and offering help. We all need assistance from time to time, whether it's a small favor at the office, help with something at home, or just a simple question in an everyday situation. Knowing how to ask for that help or how to offer your own in a friendly and fluent way is a real superpower in any language. And here is the key. It's often less about the specific words you say and more about how you say them. Native speakers often use soft, inviting phrases that sound warm and approachable. When you learn to do the same, you'll find that people feel more open and are much more likely to respond positively. Let's begin with a very popular and polite way to ask for something. Would you mind if I... This question is wonderfully considerate. Instead of a more direct phrase like, can I? This version shows respect for the other person's space and feelings. Imagine you are in a shared office space and it's getting a little warm. Instead of just getting up and opening the window, you could turn to your colleague and ask, would you mind if I crack the window open? It's getting a bit stuffy in here. There's no pressure in that question. It's just a gentle, thoughtful request. Now let's switch roles for a moment. Let's say you are the one who needs someone's help with a task. A great way to begin is by using the phrase, could you do me a favor? For example, imagine you have just written an important email and you want a second opinion before you send it. You could walk over to a trusted colleague and say, hey, could you do me a favor and just take a quick look at this email? I just want to make sure it sounds professional. Awa. This is so much nicer and more collaborative than just saying, check this. You are involving them in your process, and that simple act of framing it as a favor makes all the difference. Another wonderful, gentle phrase is, do you think you could? This is very laid back, soft, and completely not pushy. Let's say your roommate is about to head out to the grocery store. You might call out from the other room, hey, do you think you could possibly grab a carton of milk while you're out? We're almost empty. It sounds so casual and easygoing. There's no demand or pressure in that request at all. It gives the other person complete freedom to say yes or no without feeling awkward. Now let's talk about the other side. Offering help. Every single day gives us little opportunities to be kind and supportive to those around us. When you offer your help in the right way, you come across as thoughtful, fluent, and emotionally smart. Here's a very simple phrase that works wonders in almost any situation. Let me help you with that. Imagine you see someone in your building struggling to carry a heavy box up the stairs. You can walk up to them with a smile and say, "Here, let me help you with that." You are not asking for permission. You are making a direct, kind offer. That simple gesture can make someone's day. Here's another one you will hear all the time in casual conversation. "Do you need a hand?" It's so friendly, informal, and kind. Imagine you see a coworker at their desk, juggling a stack of papers, a coffee mug, and their phone. You could simply ask, "Hey, do you need a hand with all that?" It's short, it's helpful, and it's completely fluent. And there's one more phrase that works beautifully, especially in work settings. Let me know if you need anything. This is a gentle and quiet way to say, I'm available and willing to help if you need me. For instance, imagine you're about to leave the office for the day and you notice your teammate is still working hard on a project. You could pause at their desk and say, "Hey, I'm heading out for the day. Let me know if you need anything before I go." You've offered your support without hovering over them or making them feel pressured. Let's look at these phrases in a few realistic scenes. For our first scene, imagine two friends trying to move a piece of furniture. One friend says, "Whoa, this couch is way heavier than it looks." The other friend can immediately jump in and say, "Here, let me give you a hand with that." The first friend, relieved, says, "Oh, thank you. I really didn't expect it to be this bulky." The second friend can reply, "No problem at all. We'll just take it one corner at a time." For a second scene, let's go back to the office. One colleague looks stressed and says, "I've got to finish all of these reports before my lunchtime meeting." A helpful teammate could say, "Do you want some help with that? I've got a few free minutes." The stressed colleague would likely reply, "Really? That would be absolutely amazing. Thank you so much." And the teammate could say, "No sweat." Let's just split the stack in half. For our third scene, let's practice asking for a favor. One person could approach another and say, "Would you mind doing me a quick favor?" The other person would likely respond, "Of course not. What's up?" The first person can then say, "Do you think you could proofread this short paragraph for me? I just want another pair of eyes on it before I submit it." The friend replies, "I'd be happy to. Just email it over to me." You can see how the right phrases make these conversations feel completely easy. There is no tension, no bossy tone, just a natural, polite, and respectful exchange of help. This is the kind of interaction that native speakers flow through without even having to think about it. Let's get into practicing some of these together now. I want you to repeat them after me out loud. Try to put a little warmth and friendliness in your voice. Would it be okay if I open the window? Could I ask you to take a look at this email for me? Is there any chance you could give me a lift to the station tomorrow? Here, let me give you a hand with that. Do you need any help with your bags? If there's anything at all I can do, please just let me know. That was great. Now let's switch it around. I am going to describe a situation, and I want you to speak the right phrase out loud. Are you ready? First situation. You spot your neighbor juggling 3 heavy grocery bags while trying to find their keys. What did you say? You could say, "Need a hand with those?" Second situation. You want to borrow your classmate's notes from a lecture you missed. How could you ask? You could say, "Would you mind if I took a quick look at your notes from yesterday?" Third situation. A new coworker at your office looks completely overwhelmed at their desk. How can you offer support? You could say, "If there's anything I can do to help you get settled, please let me know." Fourth situation. You need your friend to drop off a package for you on their way home from work. How could you ask? You could say, "Do you think you could drop this off for me when you're done today? It's on your way." These might seem like very small and simple expressions, but they are very important in real conversations. They help to build trust. They offer support in a genuine way, and they allow you to ask for help in a way that is kind, polite, and completely fluent. So the next time you find yourself in a real situation where help is needed, I hope you won't feel stuck. I hope you'll use one of these phrases and practice it until it becomes second nature. Now, in the next part of our journey together, we're going to go even deeper into the art of real human connection. We're going to talk about how you can express your feelings and opinions in a way that sounds real, sincere, and emotionally fluent. Because real conversation isn't just about sharing information. It's about sharing emotion. Welcome back. I am so glad you are still with me because what we're about to discuss is so important for becoming a truly fluent and confident English speaker. We've already worked on how to deal with uncertainty, how to make polite requests, and how to offer help. Now, it's time to talk about how to show who you truly are when you speak. We are diving into the world of emotional honesty, learning how to share what you feel and what you believe in English. Because, let's be honest, language is so much more than just a tool for communication. It is a way to express yourself. And if you feel like you can't show your true personality when you speak English, it can feel like your voice is trapped behind a wall. So today, let's work on breaking down that wall together. We'll begin with a phrase that you will hear all the time in conversations among native speakers. To be honest. This simple two-word phrase is a gentle way to let the listener know that you are about to give your real, sincere opinion. It's not meant to be harsh or rude. It's a sign of being genuine. Picture this. A friend asks you, "So, what did you think of that new film everyone's talking about?" You could say, "To be honest, it didn't really grab me. The story felt a little slow." See? You are being sincere in sharing your experience, not critical in a negative way. Here is another heartfelt and powerful expression. "That really means a lot to me." This is the perfect phrase to use when someone gives you a compliment, encourages you, or does something thoughtful for you. Imagine a friend tells you, "I'm so proud of how far you've come with your English practice." You can reply with a warm smile, "Thank you so much. That really means a lot to me." It is warm, it is honest, and it creates a beautiful moment of connection between two people. Now, what if you want to agree with someone with a lot of passion? Instead of just saying a simple yes or "I agree," you can try the phrase, "I couldn't agree more." It's strong, it's clear, and it shows a great deal of emotion and excitement. For example, a coworker might say, "I really think companies need to give employees more breaks during the day. Burnout is a serious issue." You could respond with, "I couldn't agree more." A little time to recharge makes a huge difference in productivity. It feels so much more powerful, doesn't it? Now, let's talk about one of the most important emotions in communication: empathy. A beautiful phrase to show empathy is, "I know how you feel." You don't have to have had the exact same experience as the other person to use this phrase. It simply shows that you understand the emotion they are describing. For instance, a friend might tell you, "Everything just feels so overwhelming lately." You can respond with a compassionate tone. "Yeah, I've had weeks like that too. I get it. I know how you feel." That one simple phrase can build a bridge of understanding and make the other person feel seen and heard. And here's one more wonderful phrase for when someone is feeling unsure and you want to offer some gentle advice. "If I were you, I'd..." Ditto. This phrase allows you to share your perspective without sounding bossy or telling them what to do. It's advice, but it's softened. There's no pressure, just a different point of view. For example, your classmate might be unsure about whether to apply for a competitive scholarship. You could say, "Well, if I were you, I'd just go ahead and apply. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain." You are not ordering them. You are simply encouraging them by sharing what you would do in their position. Let's walk through a few more everyday scenes to see these expressions in context. In our first scene, imagine a friend describing a bad date. Your friend says, "He just talked about himself for the entire 2 hours." You could respond with, "Ugh, I totally get it. That's the worst." Your friend continues, "I ended up leaving right after we finished our main course." And you could add, "Honestly, if I were you, I probably would have done the exact same thing." In a second scene, let's imagine someone giving thoughtful advice. One friend says, "I'm seriously thinking about quitting my job without having another one lined up." The other friend could say, "If I were you, I'd try to line something else up first, just in case. The job market can be a little unpredictable." The first friend replies, "Yeah, you're right. That's probably the smart move." In our third scene, let's practice responding to kindness. Imagine a coworker says, "I really appreciate you helping me with that presentation last week. I couldn't have finished it without you." You could reply, "That means so much to me. I was really glad I could help out." You see how natural and warm all of those exchanges sound? You are not just speaking the language, you are speaking from the heart with real emotion and sincerity. Let's try a few of these phrases together now. Please say them out loud after me and try to put some real feeling into your voice. To be honest, that means a lot to me. I couldn't agree more. I know how you feel. If I were you, I'd... Wonderful. Now, let's do some practice where you respond to different situations. We'll go through a few everyday scenarios, and I want you to use these natural English expressions to reply, just like native speakers do. In our first scenario, your friend tells you that they are completely buried in work and feeling stressed. What could you say to show empathy? You might say, "I get it. I've had those kinds of weeks too. I know how you feel." In our second scenario, your brother or sister is hesitant to apply for their dream job because they don't think they're qualified. How could you encourage them? You could try saying, "Honestly, if I were you, I'd go for it. What's the worst that can happen? There's really nothing to lose." For our third scenario, imagine someone gives you a very thoughtful, handmade gift for your birthday. How could you express your gratitude? A warm reply would be, "Wow, this is beautiful. That really means a lot to me. Thank you so much. For our fourth scenario, you're asked for your opinion on a movie that you didn't particularly enjoy. How can you be honest but polite? You might say, "To be honest, it wasn't quite what I was expecting." And for our fifth scenario, a friend shares an opinion that you completely agree with. How can you show your strong agreement? A great way to respond would be, "Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I think you're spot on." These kinds of phrases are what bring your English to life. True fluency isn't just about perfect grammar or speaking at a high speed. It's about how you express your unique personality with confidence and sincerity. So please, don't just memorize these phrases. Practice them. Say them out loud. Try to use them in your daily life, even if you are just talking to yourself in the mirror. Yes, that absolutely counts as practice too. Welcome back. I am really looking forward to this next part of our session because this is where your English can start to feel truly interactive and alive. So far, we have looked at how to express your feelings, ask for help, and deal with moments of uncertainty. These are all incredibly important skills. But now we are going to dive into one of the most important and sometimes tricky parts of communication. How to agree and disagree smoothly and politely, just like a native speaker. Let's be honest, we are not always going to think the same way as everyone else, and that is perfectly okay. Having different opinions is a normal and healthy part of life. What really matters is how we express those differences. So in this section, I am going to show you how to show strong agreement with warmth and positive energy, how to disagree without sounding cold or argumentative, and how to keep conversations flowing in a positive direction, even when your views don't perfectly match. Let's start with the easy part, agreement. Of course, you could just say a simple yes or I agree. But native speakers often use more expressive and enthusiastic responses to show that they are truly on the same page. One very popular and effective word is exactly. It is quick, it is confident, and it shows that you fully understand and support what the other person is saying. Imagine your friend says, "I never seem to have any time to just rest and do nothing." You can nod your head in understanding and say, "Exactly." It feels like life just keeps speeding up and there's no pause button. Now try this one. "That's so true." This phrase is incredibly friendly, and it helps to keep the tone of the conversation positive. For example, a colleague at work might say, "Coffee doesn't even help me feel awake anymore." You can smile and say, "That's so true. I can drink a whole cup and still feel half asleep." If you want something a little more casual and modern, you can simply say, "Totally." Imagine a friend says, "The weekend always seems to disappear in the blink of an eye." You can laugh and reply, "Totally." 1 minute it's Friday afternoon and the next it's Monday morning again. And if you need something even stronger to show your complete agreement, you can use the phrase, "I couldn't agree more." Sabijo. For example, someone in your class might say, "This new teacher actually makes learning history fun and interesting." You could reply with great excitement, "I couldn't agree more. I actually look forward to going to her class now." Now, let's talk about the more delicate skill, disagreeing politely. The absolute key here is to first show that you have listened to and understood the other person's perspective, even if you don't share it. A wonderful phrase to start with is, I get what you're saying, but this tells the other person that you've heard them before you introduce your own point of view. For example, if someone says, getting up at 5 o'clock every morning is the only secret to success, you could respond by saying, I get what you're saying, and I admire that discipline. But honestly, I'm much more productive and creative late at night. Here's another excellent option. That could be true, but, for example, a friend might declare, fast food is absolutely unbeatable when you're hungry. So, you could say, that could be true in terms of taste and convenience, but I still prefer a home-cooked meal whenever I have the time, said Yao. Another fantastic phrase is, I hear where you're coming from. Doubt. This shows empathy and understanding before you share a different opinion. If someone says, online classes are so much better than in-person ones, you could reply, I hear where you're coming from. They are super convenient. But for me personally, I find that being around other people in a classroom helps me learn better. And for those moments when you have a big disagreement but you want to keep the conversation friendly and respectful, you can use the classic phrase, let's just agree to disagree. Imagine a friend says that pineapple on pizza is an absolute crime. You can smile and say, I actually love it. But hey, let's just agree to disagree on this one. Let's try some sample dialogues to see this in action. In our first scene, a small, friendly disagreement. One person says, I honestly think that tea is so much better than coffee. The other person could reply, I see what you mean, tea can be very calming, but for me, coffee is what really gets me going in the morning. The first person might say, fair enough. And the second could finish with, I guess we'll just have to agree to disagree. Deal, says the first. In a second scene, let's imagine a chat in a classroom. One student says, I think group projects are a complete waste of time. Another student could respond, that may be true for some projects, but I actually like brainstorming and sharing ideas with other people. The first student might admit, yeah, I guess it really depends on who you're working with. And the second student can agree, exactly. Now let's dive into some speaking practice together. I want you to say these lines out loud after me. Try to bring them to life as if you are right there in the moment of the conversation. You're absolutely right. I totally agree. I couldn't have said it better myself. I see what you mean, but that may be true, but on the other hand, I get where you're coming from. Let's just agree to disagree. Perfect. Now let's switch it around. This time, you'll be the one responding in a few quick scenes. Are you ready? For scene 1, your friend says, I think cats are way better and cleaner pets than dogs. What could you say? Didi, you could say, I get that, but I'm definitely a dog person at heart. For scene 2, a coworker says, this entire project was so well organized from the very beginning. How can you agree strongly? And you could reply, absolutely. Everything flowed perfectly and we finished ahead of schedule. For scene 3, someone at a dinner party says, pineapple on pizza is just plain disgusting. How can you disagree playfully? You could say, agree to disagree. I actually love the sweet and savory combination. For scene 4, a classmate complains, the winter break is always way too short. How can you agree? You could say, I know, right? I totally agree. It's over before you know it. And for our final scene, a friend says, I think watching television is a total waste of time. how can you offer a different perspective? You could say, maybe sometimes, but I think it really depends on what you're watching. There are some amazing documentaries out there. Fantastic work. These little expressions might seem small on their own, but they are absolutely essential for fluent conversation. They keep your interactions flowing smoothly, and they help you come across as respectful, confident, and easy to connect with. Native speakers use these kinds of phrases all the time without a second thought. And now, so can you. If you have made it this far in our session, please give yourself some credit. You clearly care about mastering the small details that will make your English sound truly natural. And this next part is a prime example of that. We are going to focus on two skills that fluent speakers use every single day, often without even realizing it. The first skill is ending a conversation smoothly and in a friendly way. The second is making sure you understand someone clearly without sounding lost or confused. Let's begin by talking about goodbyes. You are having a wonderful chat with someone, but now it's time for you to leave. What do you say? It's usually more than just a simple bye, right? In casual, everyday English, we often wrap things up in a softer, warmer, and more natural way. A great option is, I'll catch you later. Imagine you're chatting with a colleague in the hallway and you happen to look at your watch. You could say, anyway, I gotta get back to my desk. I'll catch you later. Another very common and warm phrase is, take care. For example, as you're leaving a friend's house, you could say, all right, I'm heading out now. Take care. Other excellent options include, talk soon, see you around, and let's catch up again sometime soon. Now, if you are in a bit of a rush and you need to leave right away, a perfect phrase to use is, I've got to run. It is polite. It is casual, and it lets the other person know that you're not being rude by leaving suddenly. For example, imagine you run into an old friend while you're out running errands. You could have a quick chat and then say with a smile, this was so great, but I've really got to run. Let's chat again properly soon. They will likely respond, sounds good. Take care. Now let's switch gears and talk about clarification. Sometimes someone says something that confuses you a little bit. You want to ask them to explain, but you want to do it politely, right? Instead of a harsh, huh, or what. You can try the phrase, I'm not quite following. It is respectful, and it gives the other person the space to explain their point in a different way. For example, a coworker might be explaining a complicated process saying, the final version needs to be submitted with the correct project code unless the legal team steps in before the 15th of the month. You could politely interrupt and say, sorry, I'm not quite following. Do we need to send it by the 15th or only if legal gives their approval? Another great phrase for this is, just to be clear. This is fantastic for confirming specific details and making sure everyone is on the same page. For instance, a friend might say, let's meet up around 6 o'clock near the main entrance to the park. You could reply, okay, sounds good. Just to be clear, that's the main gate on the north side, right? Here's another interesting phrase you might hear. The ball's in your court. This is a common saying that means it is now someone else's turn to make a decision or take the next step. You have done your part, and now it is up to them. For example, in a business negotiation, you might say, I've sent them our final offer, so the ball's in their court now. And finally, a simple but very useful phrase is, fair enough, This is a simple and effective way to say, okay, I understand and I respect your reason or your decision. If someone tells you, I'm sorry I missed the meeting this morning, I wasn't feeling very well, you can simply reply, fair enough. I hope you're feeling better now. Let's wrap up this section with a final set of mini scenes. In our first scene, you are finishing a chat with a friend. You could say, all right, I really need to head home now. Dinner is waiting for me. Your friend could reply, no problem at all. Let's catch up again soon. In a second scene, this time clarifying something at work, one person might say, so let's connect at 10 and then we can follow up with the finance team together. The other person could clarify by saying, just to confirm, you mean 10 in the morning at the main branch office, right? Exactly, says the first person. Room 3 in the conference area. Perfect. Thanks for clarifying. Now it is your turn to practice. Let's practice some of these key expressions together. Please repeat them out loud after me. I'll catch you later. Take care. I've got a dash. Talk to you soon. Wait, could you clarify that for me? Just making sure I've got that right. The next move is theirs. Fair enough. Now let's try some fast-paced shadowing. I want you to imagine yourself in these different scenes and repeat the lines out loud with feeling. For the first situation, you're leaving a gathering in a hurry. You could say, hey, I would love to chat more, but I've really got to go. For the second situation, you are double-checking something someone just said. You could say, just checking. Did you mean the second door on the left? For the third situation, someone shares their personal choice and you respect it. You can simply say, fair enough. These are the kinds of conversational moments, wrapping things up, confirming details, and responding with understanding, that give your English that natural, real rhythm. It's not just about being correct, it's about being connected. So the next time a conversation is winding down or you feel a little unsure about what someone meant, please don't freeze. Use these phrases. Let them flow naturally. All right. Welcome to the next part of our practice session. This one is all about improving your real-world conversational fluency. Why? Because true fluency isn't only about having deep, meaningful talks or discussing big, important topics. It's also about the small moments, the casual, everyday interactions. It's about being comfortable just keeping a conversation going smoothly and easily. In this part, I am going to show you 2 very important fluency skills. First, how to talk about your upcoming plans in a relaxed and natural way. And second, how to keep light conversations going. Yes, we are going to master the art of small talk. Those short chats, the casual what's up moments, these are what make your English feel truly alive. And here is the truth. Fluent people aren't always great speakers. They are just comfortable. Let's start by talking about the future in a real, everyday way. You might already know how to say things like, I will go, or I want to go. But let's be honest, native speakers don't usually speak that formally in casual conversation. Instead, we use softer, more flexible phrases like, I'm planning to, I'm thinking about, I might, or I'm hoping to. Let's look at an example scene. A friend asks you, got anything interesting going on this weekend? Instead of a simple yes or no, you could say, I'm planning to finally clean out the garage. It's gotten a little out of hand. Or you could say, I'm thinking of trying that new coffee spot downtown that everyone is talking about. These phrases allow you to express your plans without sounding stiff or like you're making a formal announcement. Here's another example. A friend asks, "Are you going to hit the gym this week?" Instead of a plain yes or no, you could say, maybe. It really depends on how crazy work gets. I might go on Thursday morning if I'm not too tired. You are keeping it real and not making a firm commitment, which is exactly what native speakers do all the time. Now let's look at a few more useful casual phrases. The first one is, "So far, so good." This is the perfect response for when someone checks in on your progress with something new. For instance, a friend asks, "So, how's the new job going?" You can reply, "So far, so good. I'm still learning a lot, but I'm really liking the team." Another great one is, "Better late than never." This is a classic, friendly phrase for acknowledging delays or late arrivals. If a friend arrives for coffee and says, "I'm so sorry I'm late, the traffic was terrible," you can wave it off with a smile and say, "No worries at all." Better late than never. Let's try these in a few full scenes. In our first scene, two friends are planning their weekend. One asks, "Got any weekend plans?" The other replies, "I'm thinking of going to visit my sister. It's been ages since I last saw her." The first friend asks, "Oh, nice. Is it just for a day trip?" The second friend says, "Yeah, I'll probably drive up on Saturday and come back on Sunday." "That sounds like a great little break," says the first friend. "I hope the weather is good for you." The second friend replies, "Fingers crossed." In our second scene, a casual progress check, one person asks, "How's that new online course you started going?" The other replies, "So far, so good." The teacher is really good and I'm really into the topics we're covering. The first person says, "That's great. It sounds like you're settling in nicely." And the second replies, "Yeah, it's still early, but I'm feeling really positive about it." Now, let's learn some small talk starters. These little opening lines can help keep a conversation flowing and prevent awkward silences. Some great ones are, "How's everything going?" "What have you been up to lately?" Or "Did you hear about?" Let's look at an example. You run into someone you haven't seen in a while at the supermarket. You can say, "Hey, it's been forever. How have things been?" They might reply, "Just busy, the usual." You can then say, "Oh, I feel that. I haven't had a calm weekend in months." And just like that, you are in a real conversation. There's no awkwardness, no pressure. Let's do one final practice for this section. I want you to say these phrases out loud after me. Let's finish this section strong. Repeat after me and really try to feel like you are living in the moment of the conversation. "I'm planning to visit my parents this weekend. I'm thinking of trying that new Thai place on the corner." So far, so good. Better late than never. So, what have you been up to lately? That is it for now. You are learning how to flow in conversation, not just how to speak. Keep showing up, keep practicing, and in our next and final part, we are going to put all of this together and build even more fluency, one natural conversation at a time. Okay, here we are. This is the part of our session that I've been the most excited about. You have been listening, patiently observing, and maybe even whispering some of the phrases along with me. But now, it is your turn to really speak. This is where we will use the technique of shadowing. This technique is used by successful language learners and even professional actors all over the world. It helps to build natural pronunciation, a smooth conversational flow, and a deep sense of confidence. Here is our plan. We are going to go through 10 mini conversations. These dialogues are inspired by everything you have learned with me so far. After I say each line, I will leave a short pause for you to echo that line out loud. I want you to try to match my tone, my emotion, and my energy. Please don't hold back. Treat this like you are an actor in a real scene. Act it out. Put your real voice into it. You can choose to repeat just one character's lines, or you can try repeating both. That's what I do when I'm practicing speaking new languages. Are you ready? Let's begin our shadowing practice. Dialogue 1. Asking for help. Hey, could I ask you a quick favor? Sure. What's up? Would you mind reviewing this report for me before I send it out? Of course. Let's take a look at it together. Dialogue 2. Weekend plans. Got anything interesting going on this weekend? I'm thinking of visiting my cousin. She just had a baby. Oh, congratulations. How long are you planning to stay? Just for the night. I'll probably be back on Sunday evening. Dialogue 3. Disagreeing politely. I'm telling you, pineapple on pizza is a top-tier topping. I respect your opinion, but that sweet and salty combination just isn't for me. You're seriously missing out. Haha. Let's just agree to disagree on this one. Dialogue 4. Double-checking plans. So, we're meeting at 4 o'clock, right? Yep, 4 o'clock at the West Gate entrance. Cool. I'll send you a text when I'm there. Perfect. See you then. Dialogue 5. Expressing gratitude. Hey, that encouraging message you sent yesterday really lifted my spirits. That means so much to me. I'm so happy I could help. No, really. Thank you. Anytime. You know I'm always here for you. Dialogue 6. Ending a conversation. Okay, I really better run now. Same here. Talk to you later. Definitely. Let's try to do lunch sometime soon. Sounds good. Take care. Dialogue 7. Being unsure about the weekend. Do you want to come hiking with us on Saturday? Maybe. It really depends on how tired I feel by then. That's totally fair. Just let me know what you decide. Will do. Dialogue 8. Forgetting someone's name. Oh no, I completely forgot the new client's name again. I've been there. I once had to get through an entire meeting until someone else said it. Seriously. Yep, you're not alone in that. Dialogue 9. Feeling burned out. I've been feeling so mentally tired lately. I hear you. It feels like it's been nonstop for months. It feels like I never get a chance to just catch my breath. Exactly. We've really got to find a way to slow down. Dialogue 10. Catching up with a friend. It's been forever. What's new with you? Not too much. Work has been keeping me pretty busy. How about you? Same here, but I'm hanging in there. We should definitely get coffee soon. It's been way too long. That was a lot of speaking, I know. But guess what? You didn't just read or hear those phrases. You actually used them. You practiced real speech with real flow in real time. You trained your mouth to produce the sounds, the rhythms, and the emotions of fluent, natural English. And that is something that no grammar book in the world can recreate. Here is what I suggest you do. Go back and pick a few of those dialogues that felt the most natural or useful to you. Practice them again tomorrow. Say them out loud in front of the mirror. Try them while you are cooking dinner. Use them with a friend or a language partner if you have one. True fluency comes from action, not just from knowledge. And today, you have taken a huge amount of positive action. I am genuinely proud of you for that. Now get ready, because in our next and final part, I am going to share some tips on how you can keep this momentum going. You will learn how to make English a daily habit, how to stay consistent, and how to push through those moments when your motivation starts to fade. Let's wrap it all up. So, what is it that really turns language learning into actual real-world fluency in daily life? Let's just pause for a second and think about how far you have come in this one session. You have gained powerful tools to communicate with confidence, even when you feel unsure, using phrases like, let me think, or as far as I know. You've also learned how to ask for help and lend a hand in a polite and friendly way, using expressions like, would it be okay if, or do you need any help? You've practiced being open and sincere, saying things like, that really means a lot, or, to be honest, that wasn't what I was expecting. You've seen how to agree and disagree naturally without sounding too strong, using phrases like, I see where you're coming from, or let's just agree to see things differently. We also covered how to gracefully wrap up conversations or make sure you are understanding things correctly with lines like, take care, or wait, could you clarify that for me? Or just to double check. And of course, you've been learning how to keep conversations alive with casual, natural talk about your day, using phrases like, I'm thinking of, or so far, things are going well. All of this came together through our actual speaking practice, shadowing real conversations. This isn't just a vocabulary list, it is a complete communication toolkit. Now the real question is, how do you stay on this path? Because fluency doesn't just happen in a single lesson. It is built day by day through consistent effort, through repetition, and through being okay with not being perfect. Let me share some simple habits that can make a huge difference in your journey, starting right now. You don't need any special apps or an ideal setup. All you need is your own willingness to keep going. First, start with short, daily speaking bursts. You do not need to practice for an hour every day. Even 5 to 10 focused minutes of speaking is enough to make progress. Pick a few of the phrases you learned today and speak them out loud. Make up your own mini conversations. Imagine yourself in real-life situations. Keep repeating them until they start to flow naturally from your tongue. Second, try more shadowing for deeper fluency. Go back to one of the sample dialogues from our practice section. Speak along with both characters. Try to match the tone, the timing, and the feeling behind the words. Repeat it a few times, and then try doing it once with your eyes closed. This trains your brain and your mouth just like a workout trains your muscles. Third, talk through your own life in English. Yes, I know it might feel silly at first, but this is an incredibly powerful technique. When you are in your room, you can say to yourself, I'm folding the laundry now. After this, I'm going to watch something online. Or when you are cooking, you can say, I'm making breakfast. I need to be out of the house in 20 minutes. The more you do this, the more natural and automatic it will become to think in English. Fourth, keep a speak it out loud notebook. Every time you hear a phrase in a movie or a podcast that you like, write it down. Then, right underneath it, write a sentence of your own using that phrase. And here's the most important part. Say your sentence out loud 3 times. At the end of each week, go back to what you have written and read all of your sentences again. This helps to build your own unique voice in English. And finally, please speak more. Don't wait for perfection. Stop waiting until you feel like everything you say will sound perfect. Just talk. Even if it feels a little clumsy at first, even if you mess up a word or a phrase, every single mistake you make is a sign that you are actively learning and growing. Real fluency isn't about avoiding errors. It's about pushing through them with confidence. Whether you are chatting with a friend, replying to a colleague, or just looking at yourself in the mirror, speak. Please don't hold back. Before we wrap up, here is something very important that I want you to remember. You do not need to sound like someone else. You do not need to sound like a character from a textbook. You do not need perfect grammar or big fancy words. You just need your voice, your ideas, and your feelings shared in clear, confident English. And you are already doing that so beautifully. So, what now? If this episode helped you in any way, I would absolutely love to hear from you. Please feel free to leave a review or a comment on whatever platform you're listening on. Tell me, what was your favorite phrase that you learned today? What are you most excited to start using in your own conversations? And if you have a specific topic that you would like me to cover in a future episode, maybe it's job interviews, or travel English, or talking about relationships, please let me know. I would love to make a lesson just for you. Also, if you haven't followed or subscribed to the English in Advance yet, now would be a wonderful time to do so. It helps other learners find our community, and it makes sure you never miss a new episode. Until next time, keep practicing, keep learning, and most of all, keep speaking. This is Jessica, signing off. Take care, my friend, and talk soon.